And they're connecting. All right, there's Robin. Where are you calling in from, Robin? Hello, big hello. Where are you calling in from, Robin? You're on mute.
Yeah, I didn't know if you want me to unmute or put it in the chat. I'm in North Carolina on the coast.
North Carolina, great. And Cher, where are you calling in from? Cher, you want to say hello to everybody? Just so we know you're a real person. There we are. All right, Greg Davis. Hello, Greg. Where are you calling in from, Greg?
Hey, everybody. I'm in Playa del Rey or Los Angeles, California.
All right, Playa del Rey is, I always get them mixed up. It's south of LA, right?
It's just next to LAX, near Marina del Rey in Venice.
Okay, got it. Okay. And finally, Arizona, if you want to say hello to everybody and come off mute.
Hi.
Yeah, tell us where you're calling in from.
Philadelphia.
Philly, great. And you want to come on video for us? Love to see you. It's going to be very interactive.
Sure. Hey.
There you go. Philly. I went to Penn, so we got a connection there.
Oh, cool.
Yep. And finally, Cher, if you wanted to say hello to everybody. Just come off mute, Cher, and say hi. All right. We've got one more coming in. Just want to acknowledge that person. Then we'll get started. Christina, hi. Where are you calling in from, Christina?
Lafayette, Colorado.
Lafayette, Colorado?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. She's struggling with, okay, so Cher has some audio issues. When they're resolved, love to hear from you. All right, so welcome everybody to StartOut's Being the Best Entrepreneur You Are. This is gonna be, as I mentioned, everybody, very, very interactive. It's not a webinar, so I encourage everybody to get involved, participate, and actually the best time to ask a question, comment, observation, brilliant tip is when it first comes up, which means as soon as you come up here in the brain, you can raise your hand in two ways, either on, physically like this, because we're on the same screen, or you can go to the bottom of your screen on the right side, it says reactions, open that up, click the raise hand icon. I will see that as well. I'm not going to be watching the chat because it's multitasking. I can't do that. So all this means is no Q&A at the end. There's Q&A throughout the entire workshop. I will, for those that don't participate, I will also gently invite you into the conversation. What else can I tell you? So who is this Jim Arnoff? So I'm actually in the entertainment industry. I have 4 careers. I'm a career life and business coach. So I coach lots of film and TV writers, directors, producers, set designers, puppeteers. So that's my main career that I'll be bringing to this workshop. I also have a background as a talent agent. Now I consult as a talent agent, so I work with people on their pitches, pitching their screenplay, pitching their TV series. Career number 3, I'm an entertainment lawyer. I always like to emphasize entertainment, so I don't do house closings, prenups, divorces, trust estate wills, or criminal law. And career number 4, I am an adjunct at School of Visual Arts here in New York, where I live. And my virtual course is, no surprise, pitching your scripted TV series to the industry experts. I've been leading workshops for StartOut now, probably for about 7 years. I actually got started working with founders on demo day. And I still do that. So they get me a week before the demo day to give feedback on their pitches. And then we meet again. Yes, we got applause from Eric. And after the demo day, we reconvene and we debrief the pitching to the angel investors. So that's me. I'd love to know who you are. And if you would, briefly tell us what you do career-wise, and know that I love to play with people's language. And that's my coaching ear, which is very tuned into words that really hold you back from your career. So I will, you'll see how it goes. All right, let's start with Ryan.
Sure.
Good
Hey, guys.
afternoon, everyone.
Oh,
Oh,
I'm
the
sorry, you
couple
said Ryan
Ryans?
or
Oh,
Brian?
right.
I
This is
apologize.
Ryan Hayden. Ryan Hayden.
no worries. Hey, everyone. I'm Ryan. I'm from Toronto in Canada. I am the CEO of a boxing gear and apparel company called Spar Boxing. I started about a year ago today. We've grown pretty substantially over the past 12 months, and I thought this course would be valuable to, I guess, improve my speaking skills, improve my leadership abilities as we take on more employees and more business.
Beautiful. You're at the right place, Ryan. Let's go to Chris in Santa Barbara.
Hey, hey, how's it going? Christopher Lapp. The most interesting thing about me today is this is Dolly Parton's old office.
Amazing. There we go.
I'm the founder and CEO of a company, a fintech company that's called Accurate Property Tax, and we actually help banks, underwriters, mortgage lenders, and loan officers get the correct math when people go to apply for a home loan.
Beautiful. And Chris, one word to ban from your vocabulary. It's the most overused word in the English language. It starts with I. Anybody want to give a guess?
We do.
Right. So interesting. So interesting is one of those very vague words that actually say nothing, and they actually block you from being fully expressed. So can you imagine if I said, Ryan, okay, the business you're doing, it's interesting. It would tell him nothing other than Jim could care less about my business. So if I said, Chris, oh my God, that there's such a demand for that, that takes amazing courage and ingenuity to start your own business. That's a lot more powerful than interesting. So interesting is a placeholder and doesn't say anything. Other than that, Chris, on target. Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, you know, one other thing, which, and this is my only pitch to the group. My gift to everybody today is a complimentary 30-minute coaching session on FaceTime or Zoom. And the best way to get in touch with me is very simple. Is simply go to my website, which is jimarnoff.com that I just posted, and we'll set up a time for your 30-minute complimentary FaceTime or Zoom. Okay, that's it. That's my entire pitch for the evening. Let's go to Alexis. What do you do career-wise?
Hi. So I actually work for the federal government currently. I work with NRCS doing conservation planning and conservation work. But I have been considering doing life coaching for quite a long time. So I thought I would just pop in here and see what this is about.
And Alexis, one of my favorite topics to talk about one-on-one is coaching. So I would love to offline tell you everything about coaching, my experience. I'm all yours for that. Great.
Cool.
All right,
Yeah, that'd be great.
Let's go to Frogtown.
My name is Joey Pham. I own a company called Eorte, and basically what I do is I
Hold
upcycle.
on, Joe.
Sorry.
Nothing you do is basic, right? So lose the word basically.
Okay, I lost my train of thought, but I have a
That's all
company
right.
called.
And by the way, the reason I interrupt you in the moment, two reasons. Number one, it's the most teachable moment, right? It actually shakes you up and go, oh, I said
Yeah.
basically. And number two, I'll forget if I don't. Doesn't matter. You're going to pick it up again. You can start all over again.
So I have a company called Eorte, and what we do is we upcycle bed sheets into new clothing. So I work with major hotels all over Los Angeles, and basically take their we take their recycled bed sheet and upcycle into clothing.
Lovely.
That's what I do.
There we go. Great. Let's go to Jacob.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
or can
perfect.
everyone hear me? So Jacob from San Diego. My career I was working as a structural engineer for a couple years after I graduated from college, but I actually left that position last October and started my entrepreneurial journey. And right now I'm working in the e-commerce space, building a plant-based brand.
Beautiful. Thank you. All right, let's go to Dwight.
Hi, I'm Dwight Cook. I'm right now in Long Beach, California, and I founded a
a leadership development company in India to teach minorities, early career minorities, leadership skills.
Beautiful. Thank you. Let's go to Eddie.
I have a previous career as a psychologist or psychologist in recovery. And I've been doing artificial intelligence research and development for the last 15, 16 years. And I'm just now launching a startup to create AI guides for spiritual awakening and well-being.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay, let's go to Greg. Where are you, Greg?
Oh, here. Hi, everybody. You guys know that I'm in Los Angeles, still in Los Angeles. I have been in marketing my entire career, and a reckoning I had about 10 years ago was to market products that are good for people and good for the planet. So I do three things: digital marketing, e-commerce, direct-to-consumer, acquisition marketing, things of that nature. I set up a new brand. It sells only on Amazon right now, and it's a dog waste brand that is made out of, the bags are made out of vegetable oil and corn flour, and they don't need to be composted to fully biodegrade in 90 days. And then the third thing that I do is, I guess it's coaching like. I'm a fitness instructor at Equinox because I was a former athlete, and I really like to express that part of my contribution to, bringing people along. Beautiful. And last thing, real quick, Jim, why I signed up for this is that, I have a toe in the water with being an entrepreneur, and I tend to have a stronger affinity to joining entrepreneurs with a going concern, and really growth marketing is what I do. So it's curious. I'm entrepreneurial, curious, and more interested in growing a business that where I'm already part of an existing team.
Beautiful. And Greg, whatever you did with your volume, your audio, it just came in really nice and clear.
Oh, I didn't do anything, but thank you.
Yeah, something happened. Okay, let's go to Eric.
Hi, so I'm the founder of Minimum Viable Project, and right now we have two major functions. One is burnout assessment and coaching, and then the second is interactive and inclusive problem solving for teams. My entire career has been in operations and process improvement. So if you have a business that cannot keep up with competitors, or if you're wasting a bunch of time and money, hook me up, because I can help you and your team to kind of solve the foundations and make sure you outmaneuver old shitty companies.
There we go. Great, Eric. I think I heard the K word, not sure. If I didn't, I'll bring it up anyway. The word kinda. And the word kinda and sorta, and you're not even aware that you say these words. They're so unconscious and habitual. So kinda and sorta, and this is really, really important, diminishes whatever comes next by 90%. So Eric, if I was at a networking event, well, this actually is a networking event, I said, hey, Eric, I'm Jim Arnoff, I'm kind of a coach. You would go, what? Are you not certified? You're not sure? So kinda, sorta, lose those. And by the way, when you actually say these words out loud, you're not stuck with them. You can actually take them back, and you'll emphasize, the clarity and commitment to what you're talking about. Okay, let's go to Brian.
Hello, I am Brian R. Jones. I currently reside in Atlanta. I work for Northside Hospital, and I'm in the HRIS department. That's the technical side of the human resource department. That's my 9 to 5, but what my passion is, I'm going to produce a music product that's going to be exclusively marketed to the LGBT plus community. And after I get done speaking, I'm going to go off camera for a few minutes. I'm going to have my dinner, because I don't want you guys to judge me and see me pig out. So thanks.
By the way, Brian, we love watching people eat. So feel free to stay on camera, whatever you're comfortable doing. All right, let's go to Arizona.
Thanks.
Hey, I'm Arizona. I'm a UX strategist at Comcast. What that means is I'll say my team is working on a redesign of Xfinity.com.
There we go. That was clear. Thank you. Let's go to Robin.
Hey, everybody, I'm Robin, and I am a recent executive director and founder of Carpe Vita International, Sees Life, and I support and I guide and also coach women who are coming out later in life. So it's a very niche market in the LGBTQ community. I have a Facebook community. I offer support groups in Zoom. I also host a podcast that's almost 2 years old called Coming Out Late. And I also provide coaching services. Thanks.
Beautiful, Robin. Great energy and great pitch. All right, let's go to Christina. There's an exclamation next to her, so I want to emphasize that. Very clever.
I'm the founder of a company called Organized Abundance, where I do bookkeeping and money coaching for spiritual entrepreneurs.
Lovely. All right, let's go to Gareth. First of all, Gareth, where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from San Francisco. It's great to meet everybody. My name is Gareth. I have worn many hats or continue to wear many hats. I'm a physician and engineer specializing in artificial intelligence and a consultant, and most recently the founder of a new startup, just not yet out of stealth, but focused on sexual health and chronic disease management.
Beautiful. And let's go to Cher. Let's see if your audio is working.
Hi, everyone. I'm
did it.
calling in through another phone.
Good,
Hopefully
good
that's
for you. Where are you calling
okay.
in from, Cher?
I'm calling in from the Bay Area. So I am a recent startup founder focused on eliminating single-use disposables. So we are trying to build a reusable ecosystem through.
You got the T word, Chair. You actually never have to use the word trying because you're actually doing. And the reason people use trying, two things. They're thinking, well, what if I change my mind? What if I never make it happen? It's not the future, it's your present commitment to do something. And as long as you're committed, you never have to use the word trying, because if you're pitching investors or anybody else and they hear that trying word, they're going, you're not sure, you're not committed, right? So let go of the word trying. Go ahead, Chair.
Is that the same with looking? If I say we are looking to?
Okay, so there are two, I'm glad you brought that up. There are two ways to say anything that you're doing. The first way and the most powerful is the present tense, right? So I have a company that does X, Y, and Z. I am a career coach, right? That's the most powerful way to say it because you're actually doing it. If that doesn't feel authentic, then the only other way to say it is I will or I'm going to. Looking to, oh, let me see, I don't know, let me see what the terrain is like. Right, so looking to, I want to, I would like to. When you're talking to the other person, they will hear that as, again, lack of commitment. So share, either I am, or I will, or I'm going to.
Got it. I can say we are currently testing integrating reusable packaging into the waste management stream.
Beautiful.
So in the future,
good catch. Hopefully, it's a no. Keep going.
So in the future, anyone can toss a reusable into the recycling bin, and we will be able to find it, sort it out, wash it, and return it back to the retailers.
You actually don't need to say the word, in the future, ultimately, at some point, because again, that breaks the present connection, and people only care about what are you doing right now. And what you did share by getting rid of those words, you started using action words, and action words make the strongest connection. I also love the word declare. I am this, we're going to do this. So when you're pitching, people are listening for clarity about what you're all about, what you're doing, commitment to make it happen. Beautiful. All right. Finally, Kent, Nick, and TJ, if you want to introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Kent. I'm sorry I'm late, but I am
Actually, Kent, we never say, sorry, I'm late. What do we say instead? Flip it to the positive.
Thank you for your patience.
Yeah, that's better. Even better.
It's good to be here.
Yes, there we go. I'm so glad I made it. You got it, Kent. And where are you calling in from, by the way?
I'm calling in from Washington, D.C.
Great. You want to come on video? Because we love to see you.
Oh.
Yep. I know. Nobody comes to my workshops expecting to participate, be on video, or eat dinner on camera.
Video isn't working right now. Sorry.
Okay, that's great. Keep going. What do you do, Ken? That's okay.
I'm the co-founder of Innovation Labs, which combines maker spaces with business incubators,
Beautiful.
so that just about anyone can make just about anything, including prototypes, products, and sustainable businesses, using digital fabrication and traditional tools.
Amazing. By the way, Kent, I went to GW Law, so that's my connection to DC. All righty. So thank you all for sharing. And we're not going to do it again. What did you notice about the sharing? What was it like to hear others share? What was it like for you to share? Just raise your hand. Yeah, let's go to Brian.
Speaking publicly is somewhat natural for me because at my previous job, I facilitated new hire orientation and professional development training classes for senior leaders. So I'm somewhat familiar being in front of people. So I know some people are shy and they don't like the spotlight to being on them, but I'm totally opposite of that.
Great. Yeah, we could tell. You were very relaxed and very, very, very grounded. Excellent. Anybody else? What'd you notice? What was it like?
No, I'd like to talk to a lot of people here.
Yeah, there you go. And that's why I love doing the opening go round, as I call it. So you know who's here. And, Zoom in meeting format is one of the best ways to network because you could DM everybody. You could DM the whole group. You could DM one-on-one. It's great networking. Robin, what was it like to listen to the shares or to share yourself?
Listening to the shares, I noticed there was a difference in energy levels, some high, some lower, as well as for me sharing, I noticed that I was way more comfortable than I was a year ago sharing in the same kind of a format and forum.
What made the difference?
A year of experience doing a ton of Zoom and a ton of introducing myself and getting to know my business better.
There you go. Showing up and clarifying what you do. Beautiful. One or two more observations. Yeah, go ahead, Christina.
I was nervous.
Yes, I do read. Go ahead.
I was nervous. I was nervous to speak and was at a point where I was like having trouble hearing what everybody else was doing because I was like, oh no, what am I gonna say? What's Jim gonna tell me I'm doing wrong? So that was me.
That was you. We would never know it. And by the way, if you are nervous, you can actually say to the group, or if it's a meeting, wow, I'm really nervous. That does two things. Number one, it'll actually bring the nervousness down. And number two, it actually brings up your vulnerability, which creates a very strong connection. And vulnerability is the best way to create trust. And trust is the foundation for any relationship. And
cool. I'm gonna cry because I'm so nervous. That'll be vulnerable too.
Cry. You can cry. You won't be able to see it, but you can tell us you cry. Yeah. And by the way, sharing is courageous. Anybody here could have passed, although I would not have accepted that. I would have forced you to do it anyway. All right, let's go to Robin. Robin again, observation, or you already did? All right, Joe, what'd you notice?
I have a question. So,
wait, Robin.
Forgot
to put my hand down, sorry.
All right,
I mean, not sorry.
Not sorry. There you go. You actually never have to say you're sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
So I have a question. So when you're in a pitch meeting, can you divulge that you are nervous? Like, is that, or do you just come? Okay.
Yeah. It's like, oh my God, I don't know why I'm nervous. I am, but I'll keep going.
Okay, gotcha.
You don't want to come across as I'm nervous. I'm gonna fall apart. No, you don't want to say I'm falling apart. But say, oh my, nervousness is very normal.
Gotcha. Because when you challenged me, it threw me off a little bit, and I got a little nervous off of that. So I was thinking, if that's if that's in the pitch form, then I want to make sure that I correct myself.
Yeah, and if you get thrown off, like I did with you, that means you're actually paying attention. Gotcha. And you also shared you were thrown off, so that's being vulnerable as well. All right, let's get right into the heart of the workshop. So what goes into being a powerful entrepreneur? And there are no right or wrong answers, questions, nothing. It's only sharing. What goes into a really powerful entrepreneur? Yes, go Greg.
Yeah, I've been part of many startups,
And one of the things that I've noticed is there's lots of good ideas, and it's, you would think that that would be it. But what I've seen with the real successful entrepreneurs is this tenacity to look past the current circumstances and to they have this vision that makes them really unique in the organization, and they're tenacious about following it even where there's no evidence that that's ever going to happen.
Right, beautiful. I call that the ultimate commitment to what you're doing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And the fact that you don't know what's going to happen, that's where originality and creativity comes from, right? Because if you already knew it, somebody else would be doing it. So it's the faith in the unknown and the faith in your ability. And who used the word passion? I think it was Brian. And your passion to make it happen. Beautiful. Joe, what makes a powerful entrepreneur?
Just tenacious. I mean, there's times when you just keep hammering away, you don't see any results, and it makes it so easy for you kind of want to give up. But I tell you, from my lessons is wherever, when you're about to give up, good things comes right after that.
Absolutely, because when you're ready to give up that frustration, that means you're absolutely on the brink of a breakthrough. Yeah. Love it. Jacob, powerful entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would say adaptability. I feel like, I have just started my entrepreneurial journey, but just working with my partner, we are looking at like some different products to bring to market. And I feel like sometimes we have a really great idea and we're so attached to it, but then we realize that the data is not really showing much success maybe with that. So we're able to adapt, kind of rework our idea, and really just like stay flexible with like that whole process, if that makes sense.
It does. It makes total sense. So it's adaptability, flexibility within your vision, within your passion, right? That doesn't change. Beautiful. Ryan, Hayden, what goes into a powerful entrepreneur?
I think what everyone else has said is correct. I think empathy, emotional intelligence is a big one, because the core of being an entrepreneur is you're solving a problem for people, right?
Yes.
So if you have empathy and emotional intelligence, you have the leg up in terms of understanding what those problems are and how you can best address it.
How do you exude empathy for clients?
I think, in the physical sense, it involves listening to people and actually hearing them. A lot, you can do research, third-party research, but unless you get out there, sit down with people and truly hear what they're saying and be able to interpret that.
All right, let me stop you right there. So number one is, be a sleuth. So whoever you're meeting with, you want to find out as much about that person, that company, both professionally and personally, right? By LinkedIn, Google them. If there are any, websites related to your industry, find out as much as you possibly can about that person. And then listening, which is critical to coaching. This is about, introducing you to coaching skills. We call it active listening. And what that means is it starts with you being fully present. So that means putting away, where did I leave the keys to the car? What am I making for dinner? Right? All these thoughts will come up. You can't block them all out. What makes a difference is you get through them as quickly as you can. So when I have a diverting thought with a client, I acknowledge it and I simply say back to the client. So it brings me back to the present. So being fully present in every sense of the word, it's your posture. It literally is how you are sitting on a Zoom call, right? There's a way to be on a Zoom call. There's a way not to be on a Zoom call. So front and center with your head, slightly below the upper square there, and sitting upright, you are fully present, right? Same thing in person. Listening very actively to a person's words, tone, energy, pacing, observing their body language, and internally, are you feeling connected with that person? And another key part of listening is acknowledging, not agreeing with, acknowledging the person. And the best way to do that is where you mirror back what you're hearing, not word for word like a parrot, because you're not putting much thought into it. You paraphrase what you're hearing, and then you add some of your own words So the person knows, wow, you really get this and you're really thinking about it. So you would do something like, okay, so what I hear you're saying is your biggest challenge as an entrepreneur is putting together the right team, and you need some guidance about how to do that. When you reflect back, acknowledge, we call it the same thing, that person will be your friend forever. Now notice, you're not agreeing, you're not disagreeing, you're simply acknowledging what they're saying, so they also know that you got it. So that's a key part of listening. And it will feel weird and strange, and why do I have to keep doing that? It makes a big difference. The other reason to acknowledge back is the person, first of all, you're going to get feedback. Oh yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Or, well, actually, I don't actually mean that, I mean this. Because any communication is about being so clear about what the other person means. Thank you for that, Ryan. Let's go to Gareth. What makes a powerful entrepreneur?
So I loved everybody's answers, and the only thing I'd add, I think, is the
Hold on.
ability and
So a couple of phrases to let go of. You want to let go of the phrase, I think.
Sure.
Thinking is wonderful. To say I think qualifies. It's right up
Makes
there
sense.
with I believe, I feel. That's all qualifying what you're about to say. Go ahead, keep going.
the thing I'd add is the ability and desire to hustle. And I don't necessarily mean hustle in the traditional swindle meaning of the word. I mean to creatively solve a problem in a legitimate way, but basically go in with the idea that everything has a solution.
Beautiful. There we go. I love it. All right, Robin. Second, take
Yeah,
two.
hi.
Go, Robin.
What's that?
Yep.
I
go,
would
Robin.
I would add to that, know what you don't know, and learn what you don't know. And
Okay.
I would also say that the ability to be able to say no to certain things, because not everything should be a yes. And yeah, and also the ability to pivot is really critical. I must have, in 18 months I've been in business, I think I've
We didn't hear the last part, Robin, you cut out. All right. So no is, yes, no is a powerful answer. What's even more powerful than no is no with a share. So nobody likes to be cut off, right? No, that's not going to work. Well, what about it isn't going to work? So you always want to say, these are my thoughts behind the no. Well, number one, you're respecting the other person. Number two, they may go, oh, that's actually not what I meant. Or I have a solution, like Gareth said, I have a solution to that. So you always want to do no with a share. You actually want to say yes with a share, because if you say yes to everything, that is called people pleasing and being a yes person. And actually nobody wants that. They want you to be clear about your vision, be passionate about your vision. One of my favorite words I've heard tonight is tenacious with your vision, rather than say, yes, 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 I'll do anything to get the angel investors' money. Okay, great. What else goes into a powerful entrepreneur? Yeah, Brian.
Yes, I believe becoming one with the product and or services you will provide, so you can be your chief public relations officer, especially when you're at events with angel investors and things like that.
Great. So what does at one mean for you?
Well, if somebody asks you questions about what the service or the product that you're offering, that you have great answers and things that's engaging, to let them know that you really, really know what you're talking about. You're representing your company well.
Great. I call that being in command of your business. So you actually, one of the best ways to prepare for an angel investor or anybody else is sit down with a colleague, partner, friend, and come up with as many questions that the angel investor, whoever you're meeting with, could possibly have. We do that in my, in my business. When you're pitching your screenplay or your TV pilot, the creator will literally sit down. I'll walk them through it. What could a buyer? We call the production company or the network the buyer. What are all the possible questions they can ask? And Brian, I'll take it a step further. And when you're pitching, answer those questions. They'll be so impressed that, oh my God, they answered a question that I had and I didn't even have to prompt them for it. So integrate that into your pitch, every possible question. I mean, not in a way where you're creating all kinds of doubts and that, but in a way where, okay, so it answers this question and answers this problem and it solves this. So great point, Brian. All right, what else goes into a powerful entrepreneur? Let's go to Joey for round 2. You're on mute, Joe.
Sorry. I think you gotta be mission driven. You have to really believe in
Yes.
your mission and what you're trying to do, because a lot of time we're inventing something that's so brand new. So when you're going and you're pitching something, a lot of time it flies over people's heads because they don't understand what you're trying to do. So you gotta be so driven by your mission and your mission statement of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, mission is a very powerful word. My purpose is a very powerful word. My vision as well. So when you say my mission is, I actually like to say my mission and commitment to the mission is, right?
Yes.
Very, very powerful. And you can actually use that word and it will really connect with the person you're talking to. Love it. Eric, what goes into a powerful entrepreneur?
I think it's important for us to center on the brilliance and opportunity in the LGBTQ community and in marginalized communities. Often with some of my mentees, they try to center their businesses and appeal to patriarchal kind of traditional models, and they end up just whitewashing themselves out into being vanilla pudding. And when we've actually started speaking in our authentic voice and the things that make us truly powerful and authentic, the passion comes back, the energy comes back, the vibrance comes back, and they actually start seeing the success and money that they want to see.
Love it.
And they're not trying to, appeal to suburban, straight, white, minivan crowds. No shade to my people out there. That ultimately are not here for our business.
Well, you got a big heart from Robin on that one, Eric. Yeah, and you used a very key word in terms of being an entrepreneur. That's authentic or authenticity, right? I also add to that authentic, transparent, open. Whenever you're pitching, I look at that as inviting whoever you're pitching into your world, right? There's an openness. There's excitement. There's a mission. There's a vision. There's a declaring. And declaring what it is and what your business is in the most simple terms. I can't stress how important it is. Simplicity is critical. And what helps simplicity is to give examples or it's similar to, right? Now, when you do similar to, we call that in my industry, the comparables. It's like this film or it's like this TV series. Well, you don't stop there because you're trying to leverage, there's the word trying, you're trying to leverage, which you're not, somebody else's success. So you would say, and I am taking X, Y, and Z from that film or that TV series. And this, you'll like this, Eric, this is how I make it my own. Here is the uniqueness. Here's something that has not been done before. Beautiful. All right, what else? Couple more thoughts before we get into what gets in your way. All right, let's go to Brian.
Yes, take care of yourself, eat right, work out, get your hair cut, get your teeth cleaned, things like that to help build up self-esteem, especially when you're talking to people.
Yeah, self-esteem, stamina, right? And it also bolsters your energy as well. All right, you got an applause on that one from Eric. All right, one more thought about what goes into a powerful entrepreneur. All right. But yep, wait, we had Jordan, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'll throw one out there. It sounds like a lot of us are working multiple jobs and can all feel a little bit of sympathy in the shared challenge that we have. I think you have to have a little bit of a growth mindset. On some level, you have to like the challenge. Yeah. It has to in some way fuel you or make you want to push harder.
How have you experienced that?
A little too much sometimes.
Okay.
But it always comes back, right? I mean, even when things get really difficult, you just keep going, and eventually momentum catches up again.
Beautiful. As coaches, we come from a place of curiosity, always unfolding, asking very high-end, high energy, open-ended questions. And that brings all this out of our clients. So curiosity in your own business is critical. Arizona.
Yeah, I just wanted to say people to collaborate with.
What goes into a really amazing collaboration?
Let me think on that.
Well, what are some, there's no one answer. What are some of the ingredients? You can
Sure.
look at a collaboration you've had and what made them successful.
Yeah, celebrating wins and also challenging, maybe not losses, but
You can say,
constructive criticism, let's say.
well, okay, so we never say criticism, constructive feedback.
Constructive feedback, okay.
You could also embrace losses.
Yeah.
What's the learning? What can we do differently? A lot of people use the word, how can we adapt to what didn't happen? Because a loss doesn't have to be looked at as negative. It's like, what's the insight? What's the learning?
Yeah.
How can we do things differently? So one of my favorite words is embracing everything you do, wins or losses. All right, what gets in your way of being a very powerful entrepreneur? Let's go to Frogtown.
Right. Do you mind if I go, or?
Yeah, go.
So one of the important things is, as an entrepreneur, is claim your voice, right? So you are claiming your voice right now, Joe.
Wait, whoever's just talking, you can go ahead and go. I mean, I could do after.
We got plenty of time, Joe. Go, and we'll come back to whoever wants to talk.
It's coming down to that imposter syndrome. It's this whole idea that you think that you're not good enough when you're in the room with a bunch of other entrepreneurs. So that's something that I keep telling myself, that I am good enough because I'm here. But that self-doubt and that imposter syndrome does play in, because you don't think you level up to a lot of people. But in the end, you actually do.
All right, so here's what imposter syndrome really is. It's not actually, I'm an imposter. It's actually, well, first of all, it's a very big self-judgment. Think about it. If you call yourself an imposter, that's one of the biggest judgments you can make. And what it usually is for most people, not that they're imposter, not that they don't want to do what they're doing or they're good at it, it's self-protection. From going out there, from launching your business, to taking a gig somewhere, oh my God, the brain is saying, don't do it. It's scary. You're not qualified to do it, right? So that's what self-protection, that's what imposter syndrome is self-protection. And then you say, well, okay, well, hold on a second. What am I actually protecting myself from? And in fact, the only thing you need to protect yourself from, and I'll look at Arizona, are the wrong relationships or the wrong collaborations. Right? And when you are aware of that, your brain actually relaxes. The brain goes, oh my God, Joe's got this. He knows what makes a great partnership and what doesn't. He's going to ask all the right questions. He's going to go on 5 dates with that person till he decides to be in business together. So if you have a lack of confidence, that's very different than the imposter syndrome. That simply means, okay, what do I need to do? This is very practical. What steps can I take to boost my confidence? Do I need to take courses? Do I need to, find 3 mentors, right? Do I need to start small, take smaller steps? That takes care of confidence. Imposter syndrome, think about it. All right, if you are a doctor, well, let me back up. If you're not a doctor and you pretend you're a doctor and treat somebody, that is an imposter, right? Everything else is self-protection. Your brain keeping you safe, small, comfortable. All right, so Joe, how much of that are you connecting with?
A lot. But I mean, what I've been trying to do now is I'm taking acting class because I felt like the acting class is making me a little bit more comfortable getting in front of people. And I think that
Actually, it will make you a lot more comfortable. And another class to take for anybody is improv. Improv is absolutely amazing. I was on a coaching call today, and the person, was taking improv. It makes her fearless in every situation. And she's an actor, but a lot of actors are not fearless. They may be fearless when they're playing a role. Out of the role, a lot of times they're not fearless. And she said, being improv, because you tap into all your senses, being in the moment, it builds confidence, right? So if anybody here wants to be more fully present, more comfortable in a situation, I actually recommend improv over acting. Because acting, you're taking on a role, another role. Improv, I mean, yes, you may be playing certain things, but you're really yourself. And it strengthens collaboration because improvers make all the improvers look great, right? You can't simply say after somebody shares something, oh, I don't like that, I'm stopping, right? To be the end of the performance. So that's what, I'm so glad you brought up imposter syndrome. All right, what else gets in your way?
Resources.
In what way, Dwight, more specifically?
Could grow a lot faster if I had more money.
You're breaking up. All right, well, let's see.
Finding the right talent.
All right, finding the right talent. Okay, so how have you been finding talent? What's been your way of doing that?
I groom my students.
And how's that working for you?
Slow, but good.
Okay, so what I call deliberate, right? And you're not only teaching them, you are teaching them a way that you want your team to be, to collaborate. So
correct.
You're actually doing it. What might speed it up?
I think I'd say I haven't successfully found a good web developing company. I struggle with that, and resources there, and I think other resources that I lack is sometimes good collaboration partners.
So
but
the web design, you could put that out to the group right here. And what are you looking for in a web designer?
We have a very, very complex set of tools, and so it's not a regular web designer. It's somebody who really knows how to, it's a combination of assessments and learning management system, which is all custom. Yep. And so it's very complex, and we've had trouble finding people that have that blend of skills. Were too complex for the little ones and too small for the big companies.
All right, so you could put it out to the group just now. It's like, that's the kind of web designer I'm looking for. And what else might speed up your students becoming finding the right collaborators? All right, so in my conversation with Arizona, what did you connect with in terms of the key ingredients of the best collaborator for you?
For me, or for Arizona?
Right, yeah. Yep. What are you looking for? Yeah, what are you looking for in a collaborator?
So what I mean by a collaborator is we work with companies that sponsor our classes.
Okay.
And
you're breaking up.
Find one that has the same spirit and vision that we do that works well with us is a little challenge sometimes.
All right, Dwight, you're breaking up pretty badly. So if there's maybe a different way to connect, and we'll come back to you. All right, who else has a challenge around being an amazing? Yeah, go, Brian.
Well, I was going to answer your initial question. I think time management Because most of us, until our entrepreneurial endeavors take off, we still have to work for the man 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. And sometimes when you get off work, you're exhausted. You don't want to spend another 3 hours doing research or doing whatever you have to do to fuel your entrepreneurial endeavor. So sometimes just time management.
All right, so what you brought up, I don't call, I don't call it 9 to 5. I don't call it, my job to pay the rent or cover my expenses. I call it your supporting career. And it must be supporting, right? So if you are working long hours, you're exhausted, and you've got no energy or capacity to pursue what you love doing, that's actually not a supporting career. It's actually a draining career. So what I would encourage you to do, I mean, in my business, actors, what's their supporting career? They're servers at restaurants. And it's a supporting career because let's say they get called on an audition. Well, one of the other servers will cover for them because they're also actors. Or if they get booked on a Broadway show, it's no big deal to leave. So it's very supporting, unless it's an abusive restaurant, they're exhausted and angry all the time and can't focus on their acting. It's no longer a supporting career. So the first thing I would recommend, Brian, for you or whoever else is in a gig or job that's not supporting, is to find a supporting career or multiple supporting careers. And ideally, a supporting career in the area of your career or the area of your business. Are there any other issues around time management for people? And actually, I don't call it time management. I call it time fluidity, because management there's a heaviness to it. Whereas fluidity, there's a flow, there's an energy flow to it. So I work with my coaching clients on creating that flow where they have a command of where they spend their time, but it also involves great words we used here: flexibility, right? Adaptability, making choices, prioritizing, right? So one thing flows to the next. All right, who else has a challenge?
I do have something.
Yeah, go Jacob.
So I feel like, me and my partner shares a little bit of the same challenge, but sometimes just sharing our ideas with friends, I guess we could say. Sometimes I feel like, we both had these really big careers. There was a lot of momentum with that, but we both actually left our jobs, and now we are building an online store, which sometimes I feel like just sharing that with other people, I feel like we kind of struggle with thinking, like, just kind of feeling like judgment about it, feeling a little bit, I wouldn't say embarrassed, but sometimes
you could say embarrassed.
Well, yeah, maybe a little bit of embarrassment, but just like kind of keeping the details limited. And I feel like that's something we're both constantly talking about and just asking ourselves questions related to that topic, like that, they should be supportive. But I do feel like that is a challenge sometimes, just sharing these ideas, especially when we're building this from the ground up.
Great.
Sometimes it's like we haven't really made any big moves yet.
Okay, so
or like had
couple of thoughts. The first thing you could do when you're sharing, whether it's family, friends, colleague, anybody, you can share before you share, do a setup. And a setup can mean, we're at early stage. I love your thoughts on it, or I simply just want to share it with you, right? You may not look for their opinion. You may look for their opinion. And if you're looking for their opinion, on what specifically, right? So know why you're sharing with that particular person. What are you looking for? What's your motivation? And then share that with the person.
Right.
I just simply want to share how much I've accomplished, right? So you're already set up so they don't criticize you or demean you. I mean, if they do, then you have to, is that the person I want to share with? I just, it feels good to share how far we've come, right? I want to get it out loud. In fact, or you may say to somebody, you know what? I want you to be my accountability buddy. I'm committed to do X, which is what coaches are. You know, I'm looking for an accountability buddy. Not to tell me I'm right or wrong, is to hold me accountable for what I've decided to do, right? So know why you're asking and put it out to the person. That's going to make a big difference.
Right. And just one thing, I feel like something we've been talking about is, you know, maybe sharing with this person, even if there is some judgment, like maybe we're actually inspiring that person to be brave, to leave their job that they might not really like.
Yeah,
So I'd like to think of it a little bit more positive like
By
that.
the way, Jacob, I'm glad you brought that up, because we judge all the time. I'm judging you. When you're sharing right now, I'm judging you on so many different levels. It's not that we're judgment-free or the people you're going to share with are judgment-free. It's how quickly you get through the judgment, right? So you hang in there, you listen. So you want to pick people, select people that are really good listeners, that they want to get where you're coming from. They ask clarifying questions, right? So the other thing that I was picking up, Jacob, is you made a statement that, well, we haven't done this yet or that yet. So I would flip it to coming from a place of embracing, right? It's like talking to your parents. You know, if you're going to, you know, if you're about to go on a date, you're scared as hell. I don't know if this is going to work. It could totally damage my personality. I don't know. Your parents going to be very fearful. You know, if you said, you know, I'm going on a date. We've had 3 conversations. We've actually FaceTimed twice. I've got a really good feeling about this person. Well, your parents aren't going to get hysterical. If they are, well, that's all different conversation. So know what you're putting out, right? So if you're talking to a friend and you're bringing up all this uncertainty, I don't know, it feels dangerous, my ego's at stake, they're going to judge big time. So be aware of how you present what you're doing. Very, very important.
Thank you.
Did that answer all your concerns? Okay, who else has got some challenges?
I'm sorry, I have to go, but I left contact information in the chat. It was really cool to hear what everyone's doing. I also dropped a short intro. Feel free to reach out. Would love to keep talking to anyone from the group.
Great.
Thanks.
And for anybody that does have to leave, you may not have heard this at the beginning. My gift to everybody is a complimentary coaching session on FaceTime or Zoom. Just reach out to me to my website, jimarnoff.com, and I will respond. All right, who else has got some challenges? I know there are challenges out there.
Well, I'll speak again.
Go, Brian.
I think you already somewhat touched on this, but sometimes when you get rejection or negative feedback, you can't take that personal. People are not going to understand your passion for what you're doing. It's your baby. They don't get it, and they have judgments and all that good stuff. Well, bad stuff, I should say. But you can't take it personal. You can't internalize that, and it's going to throw you off course for at least a day or hours or whatever the case may be.
Excellent. All right. So a couple of thoughts about that. Number one, who says you have to look at anything as rejection, right? Because if you say that person rejected me, you're giving all your power away. You want to come from a place of, okay, it's not a match. It's not a fit, right? And then you could, that opens up, how can I make it a fit, right? Like we talked about before. What can we change? How can we work together in a different way to make it happen? Or, you know, really getting what that person is saying. So next time you approach that person, you've got more information, you've got a better way to make a connection. So yes, don't take anything personally unless it's a compliment, and then take it very personally. That's my qualification there. So yeah, there is no, in fact, in my business, when you're pitching your screenplay or television pilot and the buyer, you know, doesn't go forward, we never say we were rejected. We actually call it a pass, right? And it's actually a pass with a share where they actually give you feedback as I said before, to either make it stronger or give you a clear sense of what to come back with next time in terms of a stronger project. So I love the phrase, it's a pass, it's not a match. That takes the judgment out of it, and that doesn't zap your energy from, oh, I guess this is a silly business because they didn't connect with it. Right, exactly. Thank you for that, Brian. Who else? What are the challenges? Yep, go ahead, Eddie.
Yeah, I would say just staying focused and not getting distracted, especially, so I'm working on creating something that's kind of new and hasn't been done before, and there's all kinds of different directions to go. So
actually, Eddie, it's not kind of new, it's new.
yeah, thanks.
Keep going.
Yeah. Yes, so there's a lot of different directions things could go and things to learn about, and it's easy to get spread out.
Get scattered, out of focus. So
Yeah.
what has allowed you to what I'll call refocus in certain situations?
Sometimes just writing about it is helpful. Just
Journaling,
getting out,
yes.
here's what I'm trying to do, here are the different factors, and coming up with a plan.
Yeah. The way I clear my mind is I verbalize it to somebody else. So for me, getting the words out, all those crazy thoughts with a colleague or friend who is non-judgmental and is a good listener and is not multitasking while I'm sharing, that would get me even more scattered, right? So know who's being your witness, right? So verbalizing, actually talking into your phone and listening, that can get it out if you have nobody handy, and replay it. And then you go, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I got some insight there. Oh, right. Oh, right. So whatever it is, it's stepping back. It's breaking that scattered pattern of, it's a pattern. And just know that any behavior, even if it seems negative, there's always a perceived benefit. So, being scattered, calling yourself a procrastinator, shy, lazy, those are all self-protection. Complicating things, those are all self-protection of not moving forward. And you want to be aware of it without judging yourself, like, oh, what's the perceived benefit? Oh, it keeps me from moving forward. It keeps me from putting my business out there. Well, is that how I want to lead my life? That's not very entrepreneurial. So you can get that out of the way and say, all right, what do I need? Dwight was talking about resources. What do I need to get this done, right? That's a very different conversation than, I'm scattered, it's complicated, that's all self-protection.
Yeah, thanks. That's helpful. I appreciate it, Jim.
Great. Anybody else have any thoughts about how to get centered and get rid of all that? I call that pinball activity, where it's all over the place.
So my partner and I usually would just like going on a walk after the work day, even if it's like 30, 20 minutes down the road to grab something from the corner store. Really helps.
And doing everything that Brian talked about, eating healthy, exercising, all that works. It really helps to get you centered and focused. Breathing's also a wonderful thing. I'm just learning that. I'm going, breathing, and I do it all the time. No, what they're talking about is deliberate breathing. Could be counting, deeper breaths. It's something other than your normal mechanical breathing, right? To break the cycle, to break that nervousness or scatteredness. Beautiful. All right.
I can just add,
Go, Greg.
I don't really know if we're supposed to wrap this up or not, so I was just being cautious about trying to chime in with another comment, but
we got plenty of time.
Okay, yeah, one of the things I think that, you're kind of collapsing two things. One is, what is the path forward for being an entrepreneur, having your own business, setting up your own rules, because all that's unknown for a lot of people. Even if you've done it once before, it's going to be new the next time you do it because times have changed. And the second thing is just, it's the whole.
Is that an observation, a question?
Observation. It's an observation.
Okay. Great.
Oh, and it's also a me reporting back on my experience of to this point of being organized and staying focused, you know, it's become more difficult for these two reasons, which is one is part of it's, you know, the road ahead is not clear. And the second is that we do so much asynchronous working now that we're not sure where we co-work, where we work asynchronously, and we're catching up to that. So I think that it's a confusing topic for a lot of people, especially right now after coming out of the pandemic.
So of all the things you shared, Greg, where do you need support yourself?
I probably more so on the first point, you know, where do you start? What is the path ahead for an entrepreneur? Because I am very timid about taking those steps.
All right, before I share what I see as the first step, what do you see as the first step? And it's actually been talked about already in a good way.
And many people have talked about connecting to their passions and
yes,
yeah.
Yeah, your mission, your purpose, your vision, right? Because if you go to the how too quickly, you're going to actually spook your brain out. It's like, it's dangerous. I have no idea how to do this. I don't know. When you connect with that vision, that passion, that, you know, Brian talked about, and you really make it come alive. I do that with my clients. All right, let's bring the movie alive. Describe the characters. Who are some actors that could play that? You know, tell me about the plot. What goes on? What happens? What inspired you to do this film? What impact do you want to have on the audience? So what that does is it raises their energy and commitment to make it happen with, I'll use the great word tonight, tenacity. And they get excited. And guess what? When they share that, we were talking about that with Jacob, when you share that with others, resources actually come your way. It unfolds itself. Because the brain likes certainty. Greg, your brain talking, how are you going to do this? How do you know it's going to work out? What if people laugh at you? What if you fail? That's what the brain does. Now, your heart and your soul, where that vision, that passion, that commitment, that I'll do anything that, well, almost anything to make it happen. That's where that lives. And when you connect your heart and your soul with your brain, that's when magic happens. And the heart and the soul tells the brain, yeah, we're going to take some risks. It requires courageousness, courageousness. And the risk we're going to take are heart-centered or soul-centered risks because they're aligned with my vision and the impact I want to have on the world. And I know whatever comes my way, is that going to move me forward or have me go backwards? Any person I meet to be a collaborator, part of my team, are they going to move me forward or push me back? The brain starts to relax. The brain gets creative. So when the heart, the soul, the brain are all working together, that's when your business will take off.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, don't go to the how too quickly. It's going to spook, right? The certainty of it. If we all required certainty, there would be no inventions or nothing new, right? It's like, well, it's never been done before, so I'm not going to do it. Well, that's not where the growth edge, the learning, your imagination, and just tell the brain, we're not going to do anything that will kill us. Literally, yeah. We're not going to die.
Yeah, just what you just said reminded me of, I recently read a book by a guy named Joe Dispenza. He's quantum physics, quantum energy fields, and connecting to that. And you know, he explains prayer, and that prayer works because it's a felt and a thought experience simultaneously. And that's exactly what you were describing.
Yeah, you got it. That's exactly what it is. And well, when you get in touch with that vision and you bring it alive, you get emotional, right? Who almost cried before? I think Arizona, emotions are great, not to be a mess, not to fall apart. You're excited. And emotion's not a negative. Emotion is actually truly getting in touch with your heart and your soul. That makes it all work together. So when you're super excited and you see the impact that your business is going to have on the world, that's going to drive you. That's going to keep you on track. It's going to calm your brain down and will attract others to support what your purpose is in life. I got a big smile out of Arizona on that one.
I think you meant Christina.
Okay, I'll say Arizona too. We'll all right, Christina and Arizona. We'll put you all together. All right, we got
putting it together.
I'll put it all together. This is all it's all interrelated. All right, one or two more thoughts, observations, concerns before we wrap up. All right, now we're going to do a closing go around and share with your StartOut colleagues what are your takeaways from today's workshop. And in order of appearance on my screen, let's go to Eddie.
Yeah, I think getting back in touch with the passion about it and the vision, I think can be really helpful, especially if I'm feeling scattered. And
yeah, just simply stop and say, what's my purpose here? What's my vision? Just get in touch with the higher Eddie, not the details, right? The higher Eddie.
Yep.
Kent, if you're there, I want to share your takeaways.
My main takeaway is that Jim is excellent.
You want to share a little bit more about that? I'm just kidding. Arizona, not Christina. Arizona, go. Although you're one and the same. You're the same people. Battling each other. Takeaways.
That imposter syndrome is self-protection.
That's huge. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Alexis, takeaways.
I think I just really enjoyed this. Okay.
No,
I really enjoyed this today.
Come from a place of declaring.
What's that?
Come from a place of declaring what you're saying.
Yes. I enjoyed this because I am just considering embarking on this. So it's really encouraging to see a bunch of other people.
I am starting.
Yes.
I'm starting, right? Let go of those hedgy words. Keep going.
Yes.
And by the way, you're not giving us a guarantee that you're going to do this or make it happen. It's your present commitment. Keep going.
Yes. Yes. So I just think it's very encouraging to see other people doing their own thing, Yeah.
Committed. Great. Greg, takeaways.
Okay. I would say 90% experiential and 10% intellectual. Real, like Alexis just said, very inspired by seeing what people are up to. Just being around that company is very helpful for me. And I'm very grateful that conversations like this in LGBT communities exist and that people like you, Jim, facilitate it. I try to be involved in these because every time I do it, I walk away feeling great. And I've got a sharpened point of view and I always get value out of it. So, so thank you. Yeah, those are my takeaways.
Pleasure. Thanks. Brian.
Yes, I'm going to piggyback off of what Greg said, the importance of being recharged in sessions like this, being around like-minded people and hearing ideas and saying, oh, God, that made sense, and then being inspired and being encouraged and just simply being recharged.
Lovely. Great. Jacob, takeaways.
Yeah, there were a handful of things, but one thing that actually stuck with me was the conversation about the supporting career. So as mentioned, I quit my job last October. So I've basically just been living off of savings and, money, my savings account is not an infinite bucket of cash. So the idea of like going back to work one day, maybe should the profit not be rolling in to where I can support myself. I think that's kind of a little mindset shift for me, instead of thinking of it as a 9 to 5, maybe looking for a role that is a supporting career and placing myself in a completely different industry that actually supports this business that I'm building, should it come to that.
Yeah, lovely. Dwight, takeaways.
Sorry, trying to figure out how to use Zoom on my iPad. Definitely some people I want to connect with, and I think there was some good discussions around blockers that block us that were meaningful to me.
Beautiful. Robin, takeaways.
Yeah, thanks. I think, I know. I got a lot out of everybody's shares. For me personally, the takeaway that was most meaningful was that I am going to get recommitted and reconnected to the passion and the mission and vision of what I'm doing, because I have definitely lost that connection. Thank you.
That's going to be your engine. And Paulo, if you're there, if you want to share any takeaways.
Hi, yeah, sorry, my camera is not on. It's pretty dark here. I was mostly listening in. I wrote a couple of chat messages. Yeah, I really like your coaching style. This is great. I was just taking it all in, and yeah, very thankful to have this opportunity with you, Jim, and with StartOut in general.
Excellent. You got a thumbs up on that one from Dwight. Thank you, everybody, for playing along. Thank you, StartOut, for making this happen. I'll be back in September with another workshop. I can't remember what the topic is, but who knows? Come see me again. Thank you all for your courage, openness, and bravery, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.